What is up, everybody? Snaggle J here with a brand new video today, and welcome to episode number 1 of our Miami Marlins franchise. I'm very excited to get this underway. If you guys did not catch the reveal video, we have selected the Miami Marlins as our franchise team for MLB The Show 22. I'm very excited to kick it off. Let me know in the comments down below which franchise team you're running with in MLB The Show 22, why you picked them, and how it's going for you so far. And as always, make sure smash the like, smash the subscribe button, and help support the channel. We are at the end of spring training here. Let's take a look at the standings. And we've had a spring. We're 13-11, so we're above 500. You have to count that as a win. Only 88 runs scored, which if you look at the teams around us, I mean, only the Cardinals in the Grapefruit League have fewer. But we've only allowed 83 runs, which is, I believe, number 1 in the Grapefruit League. So, as we talked about in the reveal video, pitching's looking good. Hitting, we have some potential problems. So some okay results here in the Grapefruit League. Not great, not bad, just kind of in the middle. Let's kind of go through and take a look at kind of where we've been doing. They don't show the stats on this. Yes, they do. So this is the lineup that we deployed for the most of spring. You can see, obviously, we're going to have to make some big cut downs. We have not advanced to opening day just yet, so we still have our spring roster and need to cut it down. And actually, we'll probably go to, probably better to go to this page instead. Take a look at some of the players we've had. So you see Jazz only hit 203 in the spring. He's got the icy cold spot. He does have 3 home runs. Soler with 3 home runs as well, which is, not bad. Our hits leader in the spring, Miguel Rojas, with 23 hits and 74 at-bats, hitting a solid 311. Joey Wendell with 22 hits. Jacob Stallings off to a nice offensive start here in the spring, as well as is Brian Anderson. You'll love to see that. Not a whole lot in the power department. Aguilar with 5, Stallings with 4, Soler and Chisholm with 3. You can see some interesting batting averages there. Again, you've got Birdie with 357 and limited at bats, only 28. Anderson 328. So some interesting offensive performances here. Delino DeShields making a play to try to stay on the big league club here with a 259. So a solid little spring, over 27 at bats there for Delino. And then you have some not so great performances. Dela Cruz hitting 224 in the spring, not great. Garcia hitting 246, not great. Jesus Sanchez hitting 214, not great. Jazz hit 203, very not great. Aguilar 185, not great. So we have some improvement to do there. Rogers, Poteet, and Pablo Lopez each with 3 wins across the spring. Let's take a look at the guys who pitched most innings, 27. A very not good spring for Sandy Alcantara. That is concerning. Again, it's the spring, but 25 innings, only 13 strikeouts, 10 walks, and a 7.71 ERA, and a 1.75 whip. Not a good spring for a guy who we're going to lean on very heavily in the rotation to be very good this year. Not a great spring from Trevor Rogers either, 13 K to walk ratio. That's not ideal. You see Sixto Sanchez with more walks than Ks, also not ideal. Again, Rogers, top of the rotation guy for us right now, and Sanchez, a very key piece of the back end of the rotation that we're going to have to hope turns it around in a short order. Ks, we got Pablo Lopez with a solid 21. Zach Pop leading the bullpen charge there with 14. Alcantara and Rogers with 13. Eliezer Hernandez with 12, although the ERA and the whip not great. So now we got to go and make our final little cut downs here. Some of this should be pretty easy. So starting pitchers, we have 10 on the roster right now. So I think it's very easy. Obviously, Edward Cabrera got a little bit of work in the spring. 12 innings, 9 strikeouts, 6 walks, a 3 ERA, and a 1.50 whip. So we're going to send him down probably to Double-A. Well, we might start him at Triple-A and see how that goes. Yes, it will use one of his options. I am aware. Nick Neidert got some action in the spring as well. He's only D potential, but impressive 9-0 K to walk ratio, which you like to see. So we're going to send him in AAA. He could be some depth for us as well. I don't think we have anybody down here. Oh, we do. Braxton Garrett had a pretty good spring as well in limited action. We're going to send him down to Double A. I'll sort out all the minors and stuff later. I'm not going to make you guys sit through all of that foolishness. We're just going to try to get our major league roster kind of set. Obviously, we have Poteet here. Now, he could be... The issue comes here is that we have, as you can see, quite a few starting pitcher potential options, right? So obviously we have Rogers, Alcantara, Lopez, Sanchez. Where it comes down is we can only keep two of Eliezer Hernandez, Jesus Luzardo, and Cody Poteet. Now, my initial gut tells me to send Luzardo down. He did have a good spring across 8 innings, but Eliezer Hernandez is 26. I also don't know if he has any options. Oh, he does have all of his options left still. But I think we're going to give Eliezer Hernandez first crack at the number 5 spot in the rotation, and then we will keep Cody Poteet as a long relief option, and then that will allow Luzardo to go down to AAA. What's his options at? He hasn't had any used either. So we're going to let Luzardo sort of get it started at AAA. Obviously, if somebody gets hurt, we'll bring him up right away, but I think it makes the most sense for us to start him out at AAA, let him get some reps there, because I really don't think it's going to help his development to stick him in the bullpen. Obviously, if we get in a situation where everybody's healthy and down the stretch, we're looking like we could, challenge for a wild card spot or a division championship spot, which is extremely unlikely. Wild card spot potentially. We could bring him up and use him in kind of a bullpen role, but I really don't want to start the season with that. I'd rather him get full regular starting pitcher reps down in the minors. Obviously, I always like to look at the closers first. So we have Floro there, so that's 1. That means we need to keep 6 relievers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not. Grant Drayton is down there in AAA, and then Lewis Head. Okay, so these guys, we're just going to send these guys straight down, and again, we'll fix all that up later. We are going to have to put some work in with the old minor league organization. So that gets us our pitching staff all sorted out. Position players should be a little bit easier. Again, if you watch the reveal video, we don't have a whole lot of options there. Backup catcher is something I don't know what we're really going to do there. Obviously, Stallings is entrenched as the starter. Nick Fortes hit a 308 average across 26 at-bats in the spring. Peyton Henry only had 5 at-bats. Alex Jackson had the big old goose egg. I think we, just based on the fact that he got some work in, we kind of have to keep Nick Fortes as our backup catcher for now. But we're definitely going to be on the hunt to see if we can find a better backup catcher. That is a black hole. And again, Alex Jackson is sort of our best quote-unquote prospect, and he's 26. And as you can see from his ratings up there, he kind of sucks. So we're really going to have to kind of figure what we can do there. We have Aguilar and Cooper at first base. Lewin Diaz, not a guy we're going to be keeping on the roster. We're going to be sending him right down to wherever he should be, which is in the minors. We don't need to carry 3 first basemen. I really have no use for Lewin Diaz on the roster right now. Jazz Chisholm and John Birdie are going to man the Keystone for second base. And we have Anderson and Joey Wendell at third. Wendell's going to be kind of a utility man. You can see he can play third, second, short, left field, right field. So we're going to kind of use him as our utility man, kind of give people days off and stuff along the way. Had a pretty good spring. He's got the hot icon right now, so he should be good for us to keep around. Shortstop, we got Miguel Rojas, and we also have Jose Devers, who I don't think we're going to keep on the roster. And actually, no, we are not. We're going to send him down to AAA. Again, with Joey Wendell being able to play short in a backup role, really no need to keep a 22-year-old B potential 63 overall guy on the roster when he could go down and get full reps at one of our minor league teams. He'll probably end up in AA once I sort this all out later. We got Soler in left field. Center field, we have Dela Cruz, Jesus Sanchez. We're going to have to see. Delino DeShields could be the odd man out here because we're at 28 right now, and we need to get rid of 2 more guys. And I feel like DeShields, unfortunately, is going to be one of those guys. And the other guy is going to be Gerard Encarnacion, who, again, we just don't really need on the roster at all for any reason whatsoever. we have Avisail Garcia. So we have Dela Cruz and Jesus Sanchez in center. Obviously, we're probably more likely going to use Sanchez in left, and Soler as the DH. I don't think we're going to want to put Soler in the field for any reason whatsoever. So this is where I struggle, because again, where you're going to have all four of your outfielders likely in the lineup every day, it makes sense to keep Delino DeShields, in case of an injury, in case of a situation where we need a pinch runner or something of that nature. But then the question becomes, do you only carry 12 pitchers and carry 14 hitters, which is a dangerous, dangerous game of chicken to play? Or who else do we rid ourselves of? Because you're not going to want to get rid of Garrett Cooper, John Birdie, or Joey Wendell. I think that they are, good pieces. Obviously, they're veterans as well, all being over 30. We want to keep them around. So what it really comes down to is, if we're more comfortable with not carrying the 13th reliever, and we're more comfortable carrying the 14th position player, and I think that's probably what we're going to do to start the season. Is we'll go with 12 pitchers and 14 hitters, and that'll allow us to keep Delino DeShields for now. Because again, I'm thinking with all four of the outfielders in the lineup every day, keeping DeShields gives us a little more flexibility. When we look at our relievers, 22 stamina, 26 stamina, 26 stamina, 30 stamina, with 50 stamina. So we do have, and then with Poteet being the long man, we do have some multi-inning guys in the bullpen, so we should be able to get through with just having 7 relievers. So we'll see if we can make that work. So we'll go to the calendar here, and we will sim through the date. Advance the regular season. Are you sure you'd like to advance the regular season? Yes, I am. So we got our first game there against the Bravos. So let's go in before we end off this video and jump into the next one. We're going to go set what our initial lineups are going to be. So let's go take a look at our pitching rotation, and we're pretty much set with what I would like here. Rogers, Alcantara, Lopez, Sanchez, and Eliezer Hernandez. Again, pretty solid looking rotation right off the bat. In the bullpen, we're going to move Blyer down to the setup role. Of course, it still has the bug where when you click on the empty spot the first time, it fills it. It doesn't fill it. It removes your other guy, which, again, they've never fixed. So we've got Blyer, Bender, and Floro in the back end of the bullpen. We've got Bass, Holloway, and Pop in the middle. And we've got Poteet as the long man. That's looking good. I like that. That's, you know what? Obviously, again, if we find ourselves in contention around mid-season, we're probably going to have reliever high on the list of priorities of people that we're trying to nab. But I do expect, the bullpen to be about average. Again, they're not great. But it's not a pushover bullpen by any stretch either. So obviously, if one of these three guys, Blyer, Bender, or Floro, get hurt, we'd be in dire straits immediately. But for now, we're looking pretty good. Now we're gonna try to put a lineup together, which is gonna be interesting. So again, we know we're not going to be using. So this is the lineup that the CPU has put together. I'm not a fan. Mostly because, again, we cannot have Jorge Soler in the outfield. I know they're trying to get both Brian Anderson and Joey Wendell into the lineup, but to me, that's just not a feasible thing to do. Again, Brian Anderson's a waste at DH. He's a very good fielder. Really just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do that. So I think what we really need to do is, for the sake of our defense, is we need to put Jesus Sanchez in left. And then Jorge Soler is going to DH, and then Brian Anderson will be our third baseman. Again, Joey Wendell, unfortunately, is just kind of the odd man out. He's not going to start over Miguel Rojas. I mean, he could, but Miguel Rojas is the kind of guy that we really would like to build up some value on him as a potential trade. Again, you have to remember, Rojas qualifies at all 4 infield positions. And we do have Khalil Watson, who, when 2023 rolls around, Watson's going to be, ready to make the jump. So we do shortstop, one of the few positions where we do have a young prospect in waiting. And I just more comfortable with having a natural shortstop at shortstop versus Joey Wendell. Joey Wendell's going to get a ton of at bats. Again, he qualifies at third, second, and short, and both corner outfields. He's going to get a ton of ABs. He's just not going to be a starter. But I mean, I would still anticipate that Wendell will get 300 to 350 at bats by the time it's all said and done. I'm not a big fan of this lineup deployment either. I mean, I like Brian De La Cruz, but I would be more comfortable having somebody like Jazz in the leadoff, just from a speed factor. I mean, this lineup is interesting. I do like the lefty approach. Like, I wonder... Stallings hitting in the 8 hole is interesting. Rojas in the 9. Maybe I roll with this for a bit. My only thing is I'd almost like to have Jazz have more ABs, but you look at his ratings and it just doesn't support it. I understand why they have De La Cruz, but it's just righty is that could come back to kind of bite us in the backside later in games. Obviously having Soler way down there is not great either, but I mean, we could do this, but that's awful. Like, I just don't like that. Because again, now you've got Avisail Garcia down in the 7. I don't like the idea of this because now we have 4 righties at the top of the line. We have De La Cruz, Anderson, Aguilar, and Soler. All great hitters versus righty, but I just don't know if I want to have 4 righties at the top of my lineup every day. Like, that seems like a dangerous proposition. But I don't know if Sanchez or Chisholm are great options to supplant any of that. You know what I mean? Like, I just... Yeah. Obviously, you want Soler in that top 4. Maybe you do this. Maybe I'll do that. We'll go De La Cruz, Anderson, Soler, Sanchez, Aguilar, Garcia, Chisholm, Stallings, Rojas. I like that. Again, you have 5 lefties in a row, or 5 righties in a row. But we're a righty-heavy team, and we do have Joey Wendell on the bench on days when he's not playing. And on days when he is playing, he's going to slot in here and, places like here when we move people around. So I think we can make that work. Obviously, Garrett Cooper is a guy who we're going to get lots of ABs to as well. So let's go look at our lefty versus lefty DH. And again, you see Sanchez, Wendell on the bench. Garrett Cooper is going to check in at first base. Is he better than Aguilar at first base? 67, 75. He is. So Garrett Cooper obviously checks in against the lefties. You've got Garcia there. You've got Soler. You've got Aguilar. You've got Rojas way up in the top of the order against lefties. I think you move Chisholm just all the way down. Obviously, Brian Anderson, not great against lefties, even though he's a right-handed hitter. I do feel like I'd want to move Cooper up to the 5th spot. So I like that. Again, against lefties, we're set up a little better because of all the right-handed bats we have. And then later in the game, if they go and bring a righty in, we have Sanchez, Wendell on the bench that we could use. So that's a pretty solid lineup. Again, we know from the reveal video we have issues with the lineup. So before we end this video, let's take a quick look at our depth chart and kind of see where we are. So again, you can see, we're obviously 9th rated behind the plate, but I'm not comfortable back there by any stretch of the imagination because we only have Jacob Stallings and then have nothing else. And Stallings, again, we got him for 3 years. But I expect that first ARB year to maybe jump up to like $4 or $5 million, depending on how he does this year. And obviously he's not getting any younger at 32 years old. We've got Aguilar in a walk year. So we definitely have some spots that we really need to address. We need to have a good draft. Scouting is going to be huge for us. We need to have a really good draft, and try to fill in some position player areas, because when you look at, 2023, we got a lot of guys, and you can see 2023, Khalil Watson being projected as a 78. How fun is the latter years not the latter years, but the future years of this franchise going to be with Khalil Watson and Jazz Chisholm up the middle. Because when you look to 2024, look at this. 2026, 90 and 91 up the middle. But you look everywhere else on the team, and it's a struggle. Potential 80 behind the plate. We have nothing at first, nothing at third. We're hurting in the outfield to a certain extent. Our bullpen's going to be not great. We're going to have a great pitching staff. Like, again, we have a lot of young, great pitchers, and we have good, one really good prospect in Khalil Watson, who I am very excited to see develop, and I can't wait to get him in the lineup in 2023 and beyond and see what kind of magic he works with Jazz Chisholm up the middle. But we have some work to do. And we're going to get that work done here in this series on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning into the first official episode of our Miami Marlins franchise. Again, if you like the video, smash the thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment down below. Where do you think is our biggest opportunity to make some moves early? And also let me know your predictions. 2022 Miami Marlins franchise team, where are we going to finish in the NL East, and what will our record be? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much, and until next time, peace.